Do you ever wonder why what seems so obvious to Christians appears to be so absurd and bonkers to non-Christians? For example, why in a time of suffering does running to God seem like such an obvious response to Christians, yet to non-Christians suffering almost acts as further evidence against God's possible existence? Or another example, why does one world-leading scientist view science as a means of proving God's existence, yet another world-leading scientist thinks science proves against God's existence? Or finally, why does the idea of creation, the idea that a creator could have brought everything into being, why does that seem so plausible to Christians, yet so nonsensical to non-Christians? Well, Paul helps us greatly in chapter 2 of 1 Corinthians, verses 6 through to 16. So far in 1 Corinthians, Paul has shown us how Christ's kingdom and mission ran contrary to everyone's expectations. God used a preacher in Paul who rejected the methods of his age to save those who were, in most part, a very unimpressive people, by teaching the absurd notion that it was through crucifying Jesus, Christianity's Messiah, that God's purposes could be fulfilled. So why do Christians believe such weird things? Why do they see the world through a totally different lens to everyone else around them? Well, listen to Paul's words from 1 Corinthians chapter 2, starting from verse 6. Paul says, "Yet among the mature we do impart wisdom, although it is not a wisdom of this age or the rulers of this age, who are doomed to pass away. But we impart a secret and hidden wisdom of God, which God decreed before the ages for our glory. None of the rulers of this age understood this, for if they had, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, what no eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor the heart of man imagined, what God has prepared for those who love him. These things God has revealed to us through the Spirit. For the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. For who knows a person's thoughts except the spirit of that person which is in him? So also no one comprehends the thoughts of God except the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit who is from God, that we might understand the things freely given us by God. And we impart this in words not taught by human wisdom, but taught by the Spirit, interpreting spiritual truths to those who are spiritual." Why does no one see the world in the same way that Christians do? Because, Paul says in verse 7, God has let us into a secret. It's a secret that, he says in verse 8, even the high and the mighty of this world do not know. It's one which, according to verses 9 to 13, God has revealed to us by his Spirit. And so if you're a Christian, God has done something amazing to you by his Spirit. He's opened your eyes. Paul says it elsewhere like this: God has shone the light of the gospel into your heart. It's almost as if God has taken off that old lens that you used to wear and he's replaced it with a new gospel lens, and that's now the means through which you see the world. And so the things in this world which seem so obvious to you are not so obvious to others. Look at verses 14 through to 16. "The natural person does not accept the things of the Spirit of God, for they are folly to him, and he's not able to understand them because they are spiritually discerned. The spiritual person judges all things, but is himself to be judged by no one. For who has understood the mind of the Lord so as to instruct him? But we have the mind of Christ." To others, the message of the gospel is simply foolish, but to us, because God has opened your eyes to see the light of the gospel, it is real wisdom. Here's your challenge for today. The means through which we became a Christian, responded to the gospel, and saw the world through God-shaped eyes was dependent upon the sovereign God opening your eyes. Firstly, how does that make you thankful to God? How does it make you thankful that he opened your blind eyes? He did something that only he could do. But secondly, how does it encourage you to pray for the world around you? What's the best thing you can do for a secular nation? Pray that God would do what only he can do: open blind eyes. What's the best thing you can do for your non-Christian friend? Pray that God would do what only he can do: open their blind eyes and reveal to them the secrets of his glorious kingdom. Hope you have a great day.